This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online community with more than 13,000 classes taught by professionals in design, photography, and much more. You can learn many useful skills to advance your career or just have fun. Click the link in the description to get unlimited access to Skillshare for free for 2 months. If you like the service, then stay for around $10 a month or cancel with absolutely no obligation. Click the link in the description to get started.
Hello everyone and welcome to my After Effects tutorial. In this episode, I want to show you how to create this nice DNA title sequence in After Effects using Plexus. So this tutorial is going to be really interesting because I'm going to show you how to work with OBJ files when you're working with Plexus and how you can prepare your 3D model so you can import it into After Effects and use it properly with Plexus. So this is actually a very simple example of what you can do with this. There are just tons of possibilities. There is no background elements here, there are no side elements here, but you have to understand, awesome people, that this is for a tutorial. Also, I'm going to give out my 3D model that I've used in this promo, or in this quick project for free, so you guys can practice along, follow along and have a good time. So get this 3D model for free. The link is going to be in the description, and once you have this, you can follow along with me. Okay, so getting started, I'm going to create a new composition. I'm going to call this tutorial. Now, just for the case of tutorial, I'm going to keep the 720 30 fps and 10 seconds should be fine. Superb. Next, you can firstly, when you are creating, say if you're not working with my 3D model, you want to work with some of your own 3D models. When you're creating a 3D model, you'll have to see to it, awesome people, that you add a lot of segments into it. This way it's it has good size, and when you bring it into Plexus, you get a lot more control. If you don't add a lot of segments and you keep it low poly, what's going to happen is you won't get the details in the model, and you won't have a lot of points and stuff to connect with. Okay, so as you can see right now, the center part is good, but over here on the sides of these bars, there is just a lot of less segments. So what I can do is I can go to group. Now I'm working with 3ds Max. You can work with Cinema 4D. Unfortunately, I don't know that software. So anyways, I'm going to go to over here to cylinder, and I just have to add these lines that you see, right? Those are segments. So if I increase them, you can see how I'm increasing them, and this is something that you want to have. Let me just see how many did I add. Okay, 144 is a little too much, so I'm just going to keep it to 100, right? And once you have something like this, you can bring it into After Effects by just dragging and dropping, if I'm not wrong. Let me just see. Public DNA. So you just have to save it. Okay, I'll show it to you guys. Assuming that we just did this, so I'm gonna go here and make this 100. Once you have your 3D model ready, you can go to group. Okay, you can go to file, like go to max, go to export, and then decide where you want to save this, and over here save as type, change this to OBJ. OBJ is right there. Give it a name like this and hit the save key. You're gonna get this option. Keep these 3 options checked on except for the hidden objects, and do export. You're gonna get this, click on done, and now you can go to the directory and just simply drag and drop the file. So I'm going to show it to you. Say this is my OBJ file, as you can see over here. You can even see it in the type. So this is an MTL file, so don't worry about this. Go for the OBJ. Okay, take it and drag it and drop it into After Effects like so. It's going to import, and now you can bring it into your composition. You can switch it off for now, and now we can start working. So I'm not going to use this OBJ. This I just did to show it to you how to import that. I already have my OBJ, and 05 is my OBJ. I'm going to bring it here, and this is the one that I'm going to use. You can download this in the description again, and I'm going to switch this off. Control Y to create a new solid. I'm going to call this Plexus, and I'm going to go here, type in Plexus. You can download a lot of 3D models online, guys, these days. So just download some, or you can create some of your own, like a car or a human or something. If you want to practice something, if you are trying to create an awesome demo reel, then you can do all of that stuff. Anyways, when you're in Plexus, now keep in mind, awesome people, that I'm working with Plexus 3. So in Plexus 2, we had the option of adding or importing an OBJ from here. But in Plexus 3 it's a little bit different. We get this Plexus object panel, so you'll have to go to add geometry and choose OBJ from here. Right now what I like to do is I like to rename everything in the layer stack. So I'm gonna hit the enter key, call this OBJ. This way when you have a lot of things piling up in the layer panel, it's gonna be a little bit easier for you to see. I'm gonna call this points, Plexus. Great, everything looks good. I'm gonna click on the OBJ and you can see over here in the FX control the settings are gonna change according to what I have selected in the layer stack. So if I click on OBJ, you'll see I have my OBJ settings over here. I'm gonna go to the OBJ layer, click over here and change it to 05 layer. This way it's gonna read this layer, correct? And you can see we have imported our design, our DNA in After Effects, and we have actually imported it through Plexus, so we're actually getting all the points and everything. Now you cannot see everything right now, but that's okay. We'll create a new camera, click OK, and now we'll use the unified camera tool for moving around and zooming into the model that we have. If your model is coming in too small, then what I would say is go in here in your 3D program, be it Cinema 4D or 3ds, doesn't matter, and just scale it up, you know, like this. Scale it up, right? And you have to understand that I'm just working with the model. I don't have any texture applied on this, so scaling is good for me. Like I can do it quite easily, right? You have the option of doing it in Plexus also, but I would suggest you do it in 3D program. Okay, so coming back to Plexus, I have my camera here. I'm gonna zoom into this like so, and I'm just using the different buttons on the mouse. So right mouse key is gonna allow me to zoom in, assuming that you guys are working with unified camera tool. So right click, you can zoom in. Middle mouse button, the scroll wheel, if you click you can pan around, and if you do the left mouse button you can just dolly, right? So you can move around your 3D model like so. Superb. I'm gonna position everything properly. Now what's gonna happen is that your model is gonna be very, I don't know, fluffy, jagged, I don't know. This is not looking good, right? We want to have nice details. So we'll go to the Plexus and we'll go into the points and we'll reduce the point size down to 0.5. And you can see now we are getting somewhat of a DNA design. It's looking weird because we are having all these halo effects on the side. And this is because of the segments. If you remember, awesome people, I told you to add more segments, and this is exactly that. So the halos are causing by these lines, right? There's this line and the halos are the number of lines that were there in your segment. So if you wanted like a very detailed thing, this in my opinion can work. It's good. It doesn't make your scene very heavy. You can move around. But if you wanted more details, if you wanted more halos, then you have to add more segments here. Okay, superb. Moving on, we have created 0.5 point size, so I'll bring this down even more. I'll bring it down to 0.2, and great, now we're getting somewhere. Now this is looking interesting. Superb. I'm gonna zoom into this even more, and now awesome people, you can really see the design that we have. So this is our odd shape over here, and these are the bars. Next we'll add a renderer, and I'm going to take lines, and again I like to rename everything, so hit enter, lines. Now things are going to get a little out of hand. The scene is going to become very heavy because the default settings are a little too much. So it's okay, we'll reduce the line thickness down to 0.25, and we'll reduce the max number of, you know, this thing, the first setting, down to 5, and the second setting, maximum distance, I'll bring it down to 25. So this way what's going to happen is this number is going to get very less, and the opacity over distance, this is something that I would like to edit. So I'm just going to make this curve like so, right? And I'll choose the thickness over distance. I'll bring it down exactly like the top one. And if you still cannot see the effect, then you'll have to reduce the line thickness down even more. So I'll bring it down to 0.05, and there you go. Now we are seeing some good connections. But the scene is definitely getting heavy. Now I want to add even more you know, things on it, so I'm going to go to add a renderer, triangulation, and I like to again rename stuff, so TRIS, tries, and boom, scene super heavy. The reason is the default setting of the triangulations is just a lot for the scene to handle, So, work with your system, give it time to load everything. And now, awesome people, once everything is loaded, we'll change the max number of triangles down to 2, and we'll change the maximum distance down to 25. So what's going to happen is we're going to get a better, render, I would say, because you have reduced everything down a lot. Now, this is something that you can, now the stuff that I'm about to show you depends on what kind of 3D model you have. If you're following along, and if you want to create something like this, then what I did over here is I went to the Plexus option, I went to the OBJ option, and I reduced its resolution down to 15. This way I could get a very interesting effect. It's not looking very great right now because we haven't added in noise, but it's looking very nice, and we got like a very unique effect like this, right? So let me show it to you. I'm going to go back to tries, and I'm going to reduce this down to 5 and down to 20. And also I'll change the opacity over distance to this. Maybe I'll change this down to 2. Great. Next I'll go to add effector, and I'll take noise, right? And I'm going to go to this noise effector. Again, rename everything in your layer stack so you can see things easily, and you can play around with different settings and just make everything work. So click on noise, and I'll increase the noise amplitude up to 5 or maybe to 10, right? And now if you move this, you can see things are going to get again a little bit heavy, so you may want to work with third, maybe even increase the adaptive resolution on, and you can work with it like that. Now again, like I said, the effect at the end looks really nice. That's why we we work with this. But yeah, you can go around and mess with different settings. So I'm going to go to tries, and I'm going to bring this number down to 10. Maybe down to 5. Okay, great. Now we are seeing something. Alright, this looks good. Next, awesome people, what I did was, you can go here to quarter. You can again work with adaptive resolution. And what I did was, I basically decided my camera angle in the quarter setting, right? So when you're working, what I would say is work with the quarter setting, do not work with full, especially when you're working like with 4K and full HD and stuff. You have to understand that I'm working with 720p and it's giving me so much problem. So 4K would be insane. But this is something that your clients would like a lot and would look absolutely amazing in your demo reel. A lot of studios would definitely hire you for this kind of work, right? So again, decide your camera angle and how you want to animate everything. So say I like this angle because I could get a nice depth of field. I'm going to increase my quarter to full now, right? So I can see everything and how the depth of field works. Next I'm going to go to Plexus, and maybe I'll go to OBJ, and I'll reduce the OBJ resolution down to 10. Maybe to 15. To 13. Okay, this looks good. Next I'm going to go to camera, hit the A key 2 times, and I'm going to increase, I'm going to switch on the depth of field to on, right? Next I'm going to go to focus distance, change this number down to 150, change this down to 2, and you cannot see these numbers because in Plexus we haven't switched on the depth of field option. So in the layer stack, go to Plexus and put a check mark on required for DOF. Let me just cancel this. And here change the depth of field option to camera settings, and everything's gonna go blur, but that's okay. Now we'll go to camera, switch the depth of field on, and change the numbers from focus distance. Because we have zoomed in so much using the camera, I'll reduce the focus distance down to say 200, and I'll reduce the aperture down to say 2. And now you can see we're getting some nice depth of field over here and over there. Okay, this looks good. I'm gonna increase the aperture by 3. So we can really see some depth of field, and you can adjust the focus distance on what part of the Plexus you want to be in focus. So this looks good. This shot looks good to me. Now you can go to Plexus, go down to Plexus option over here, and you can increase the render quality up to 8x. Whenever I'm doing my final renders, I'm always choosing 8x. but when you're working, you can really see over here that the quality gets improved. So if I choose 1x, you can see the quality is very bad, but if I change it to 8x, you can see the quality went amazing. So depending, again, if you're working, choose with just work with 1x, and you can change this later when you're doing your final render. Superb, this looks good. Now it's time to do some animation, guys. We'll go to camera, do a right click, camera, create orbit null, and what this is gonna do is it's just gonna create a null object, link the camera to the null object, and now we can animate the null object, right? So we don't have to work with camera, we don't have to animate that. Instead, we can animate the null object, and it's gonna create a better workflow for us. So let's start with animating the position on the null object. So start the animation here. Go ahead and type about 2 seconds, right? And then I'm gonna choose this null object and see which axis I want to work with. So I want to give it like a nice follow along that trail shot, right? So I'm gonna go to this green axis and push this number up, right? Something like that. And then you can just preview now. Because this is 720p, it's actually doing quite a good job of previewing things, but in 4K and 60 FPS it would just be horrible. So okay, we're getting some nice depth of field and some good animation. I like this. Maybe I'll increase this to 4 seconds to reduce the speed of the animation. And this is looking not that bad, guys, but the only thing is that this is very static. Maybe you want this effect, the full time frozen effect, if you add some nice background elements, and you can create a very nice depth of field space kind of shot. And also we are missing a background here, so I'm going to press the Ctrl Y buttons and press and call this BG and choose a nice dark gray color like that. Put it over here, much better. Okay, let's preview this. It's looking nice. Now you have to understand that you're working with Plexus 1x, so the quality may be a little bit down, but if you change it to 8x, all of this blurriness and choppiness would definitely go away. Alright, so the animation is quite nice, smooth, cinematic style. I like that. So this looks good. Next, we can add in some rotation in the Plexus and the 3D model. So what you can do is you can go to Plexus, go to the OBJ options, and you'll find that there are some transform options for the OBJ, for the full 3D model itself. So if you open the transform OBJ, you will see that there are some scale options. So you can maybe scale the OBJ like so. You can position the OBJ as you like, right? There are even some options for the Z depth. But we'll keep it like that for now. And we'll increase the size, and we can also do some rotation right there. So if I was to scale it, if I was to rotate it on the Y axis, you can see that the rotation would really work with this kind of animation. So let's try that. Let's start the keyframe for Y rotation, move ahead in time to about 4 seconds, and change this to there, right? If I preview this, you can see that it's a little slow right now, but the end result is definitely going to be worth it. You see that? Okay, now we're having some other problems, and that is that we're getting some triangulation errors. And the reason is, if you go to the tries, there's this option called calculate triangles distance. The option is by default set to every frame. Change it to only one frame, and this way it's not gonna give you that glitchy effect. So this is how a small preview of the animation looks. This is what we have created till now, and what you can do is, again, okay, so there is this one more thing that I just saw that it is not working out with the animation, is that everything is so static. We want a little bit of movement in the noise. One way you can do that is you can go to Plexus, go to noise, and in here there is this option called noise details. Open that, and we'll add a small expression to noise x offset time into 5, and this thing only works if you have gone to the tries option and changed this to only one frame. Otherwise you would get like a very weird effect where everything's are just dancing and things are changing and it's not looking very good. I think 5 is a little too much over here. Maybe I'll go to the noise layer and I'll change this to 2. Now if I preview this, you will see things have that nice cinematic slow motion effect, right? Looks amazing. If you were to bring down the aperture for this would also work and look very, very good. So this is what we have created till now. Let's go here to Plexus. Let's go to camera. Press the A key 2 times to reveal all these settings, and we'll decrease the aperture just down to 1. This way you can see that the blur is very, very less, but looks very good. We'll go to Plexus, and you can increase the render quality to 8x, and I'm going to do a quick preview of how it looks with 8x on. And here is a small preview of the animation that we just made. So as you can see, it looks very nice, and this is something that you can do with importing OBJs and importing a 3D model in Plexus. This was a quick video. I don't think it was quick, but this was my tutorial on how the workflow works, how things work when you're working with a 3D model in Plexus, and I just hope you enjoyed. So here is what I had created. So this is what I had created using the same workflow and the same techniques. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and this is something that you can create if you put a little more time into creating the motion design, right? I'm going to provide the free link to download the 3D model that was used in creating this. Download it, use it for your practices, and create something awesome. And if you do, then share it with me. Leave the link in the comment, and I'll be very happy to check it out. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone.